When traveling and overlanding like we do, having a fridge has been a huge game changer. So when the folks at SetPower reached out and they said, look, we have a product we'd like you to try out, we were all for it. And I really appreciate them being patient with us, because we've had it for several months already, and really, how do I test a fridge in the winter? So if I'm going to recommend a product, I want to make sure I have a chance to really try it out. So we've been working with this one, well, winter to now summer temperatures and everything in between. And so far we're really pleased. So let me tell you a little bit about it. We've been traveling with a fridge for years now, and the one that SetPower sent us is a dual zone fridge. So we are currently using the bigger section set at 3 degrees Celsius, and we have the smaller section set up as a freezer. So beauty, we got ice cream and we got ice for drinks. And on the big side, I have everything I need to make supper. Fresh veggies, feta cheese. I want to keep that as at a good temperature for summer, especially when it gets really hot. So love the convenience of this one. Love the way the doors open and close. It's a positive latch. They seal very well. Love that. Controls are conveniently located on the side. Easy to read. Quick one-touch operation. On and off. Touch of a button. Adjust the temperatures up and down by a button. Set it and forget it. Love this. So currently we have it plugged into 12 volts. But when at home, what we do is when we're getting ready to go on a weekend, for example, we pack the fridge the night before, 2 nights before, and we plug it into the wall at 120. So when we're ready to go, usually on a Friday after work, quite simply, unplug it, grab it, toss it in the Jeep, and we're ready to go. So I love the flexibility of it. Currently we're using it, the big section as a fridge, the smaller section as a freezer. But I'll be honest, for longer trips, I like to have enough fuel, food, supplies to last the week. For a week, I think we'd be using the whole thing as a fridge, and well, forget the ice cream, we're not packing that with us. But perhaps, I don't know, going to the coast to do some fishing, and I want to use the whole thing to freeze some fish on the way home. That could be done as well. But I like what we have right now, where the big section is the fridge, the smaller section is the freezer. Who knows, for longer trips, maybe we'll freeze some meats and bring that with us. All kinds of possibilities here. So currently we have it plugged into the Jeep, and that battery, we have a deep cycle battery in Gene's Jeep. It will power this fridge for days without any worries. But if we were here for a week, let's say, well, then I would quite simply just plug it into a power bank, and we can maintain a cold fridge for, well, several days. So like I said earlier, we've used it in the winter. In the winter, quite simply, it's not even turned on. I set it in a way that it just monitors our temperature, and I keep it from freezing that way. So very useful. I didn't think we'd bring a fridge in the winter, but that works out just to read the temperature inside. We keep everything from freezing, keep the stuff that's not supposed to freeze from freezing. That works out really well. In those in-between temperatures, the shoulder season, it manages temperature. We know our food never gets too warm, never gets too cold. We can just read the display and monitor it. And of course, where it's most useful is at this time of year when we're into summer temperatures, and we want to make sure we keep our food cold and fresh. And we've done that before. We've run with, you're going out for a weekend, do you really need to spend money on a fridge when a cooler with ice will work? Well, it does, but I tell you, the convenience has just been awesome. In the Jeeping world, there's been that argument of lights before lockers. Well, you know what? I think I'm gonna go as far as to say is fridge before lockers. We've become so used to using a fridge when we go out, I don't think we could do without anymore. Now, as far as power consumption, it's so minimal. We just run it off the vehicle battery, and you know what? When I get back home, we're gonna plug it in and do a little bit of testing for you, give you some real numbers. Now, I don't have a proper hold down kit for it just yet. I've kind of adapted what we have, but with some ratchet straps, with the handles, they're solid, they're secure. This thing's not going anywhere in the Jeep. That works really well. I do like the handles. Gene and I, when we truck it from the house into the Jeep, we grab each end, and quite often it's loaded pretty heavy, and the handles are comfortable, easy to use. I'm not gonna lie to you, when it comes to maintenance, it's not me that does the cleaning. My wife does the cleaning. Don't tell her. And one thing she noticed is on the inside, this metal finish is easy to clean, easy to maintain, and we like that. One thing we notice is when we move stuff around in the Jeep, I like putting totes on the top. This finish is scratch resistant, and keeping in mind that in the Jeep it's a little bit of a rugged environment, we're always moving stuff around. So for example, if I'm going to move a tote out of my way, I have no problems tossing it on top. It's a durable finish, we're not hurting anything. A little bit of mud, it doesn't care. Easy to clean, easy to maintain. And of course the cooling fan runs to maintain temperature, and it's so quiet we never hear it. I don't think I've ever heard it at night, and we're sleeping right here. Accessibility is a little different for us. On the side, access on the front one is awesome, but quite honestly at the back it's not quite as accessible. Pluses and minuses, but what we discovered on this trip that we hadn't quite figured out, I can get it easily from the front. So pulling over on the side of the road just to grab something, super easy. As promised, here's a little bit of the technical information, if you will. Operating this fridge is so simple. Right now I have it plugged into just a loose 12-volt battery, and I have my multimeter plugged in on the amp scale in series, so we can measure how much current draw it requires to operate. So we have 50 milliamps currently, and that is normal for any car that is parked overnight, if you will. Just normal battery drain on a car will be that much. So very, very minimal. To operate the fridge, everything's at the touch of a button. Very simple to operate. No programming necessary or anything like that. To turn it on, just hit the on button, press for 2 seconds. You'll see it power it up. And there we go. It is currently set for this side as a freezer, and it is set to, what do I have, -10. And on this side, we have it set to a fridge at 3 degrees. So to adjust my temperature, push of a button on the arrow, it flashes a few times, and I've now changed it to 2 degrees. It also has battery protection mode, which is just entered into right now. My battery it needs to be charged. So right now, voltage has dropped down to, let me grab that chart. So it has an error message of E1, and quite simply that just means that my battery is run down low, because currently I have, and the fridge has battery protection, and it is set in high mode right now. So basically if the vehicle is not running, your fridge brings down the battery and it will stop. So it is currently kicking out or protected at 11.1 volts, and as soon as it recovers to 12.5 volts, 12.4 volts, it will turn back on. And like I said, that battery is currently discharged, so it's perfect for this demo, if you will. Now to change that, once it gets out of the error mode, all I have to do is press and hold the set button for 2 seconds, and I can switch it from a low setting, which will allow the battery to run down to 9.6 volts before it goes into protection mode, and 2 seconds again, and we're now in a medium range, which will protect the battery at 10.4 volts, and another 2 seconds, and we're back in high mode where it will protect it down to 11.1 volts. So what that means is no matter where you are, you leave it plugged in, it won't kill your vehicle battery. It will shut down the fridge before it does that, so you can always start your vehicle in the morning. With our Jeeps, it's never happened. We are usually 2-3 days, and the fridge never runs down the battery to the point where it goes into protection mode. So that works really well. We also have a eco mode. If we press and hold for 2 seconds, we go a minimum compressor speed, and hold it again, and we get into a maximum. So in high setting, it cools down the fridge much quicker. It's less efficient energy wise. So as soon as I switch it on to high with my weak battery, I see I have the E1 code already. So the way we like to operate the fridge is we'll have eco mode turned on, so minimum compressor speed with our battery rundown protection set in the middle range, and that's worked just fine for us. While it is in standby mode, it is drawing 60 milliamps, so just basically keeping the lights on, minimal drain. Lasts forever that way. When the compressor is running, in this case I got anywhere between 3.5 and 4 amps. Typical mild summer weather, if you will, if it's running 50% of the time, then we can say it's a 2 amp hour draw. So depending what your system capacity is, you can do some math with that. So I know for us in Alberta, in the Alberta foothills, it's quite cool. So during the day it'll be running, I don't know, maybe 50% of the time, I'm not sure. And overnight it might run once or twice. So we're barely consuming 2 amp hours to keep this fridge running when we take it out in the mountains. On a really hot day, we could easily double that. And when we take it in the winter, for example, well, it's 60 milliamps, just keeping the lights on. So there you have it. That's pretty much everything I know about this SetPower fridge. I want to say that we're going to be using this a lot, but we do have 2 fridges, and I'll be honest, we like it so much, I'm actually going to gift it to a dear friend, to my uncle, so that he can get many years of use out of it. I can't think of a better gift.